Earl Pugh here today to talk about 4-note chords on 3 strings. In previous videos I've done 2 shapes in the songs, and this has resulted in some confusion. So we're going to do an entire song with only 1 shape, and the idea is to get comfortable with the variations on 1 shape. And we'll do the second shape, we'll get comfortable with the variations on that shape, and then we can add them together. So this is going to seem like an inefficient way to play guitar, but there is a reason. So we'll use 1 shape that is referred to many times as shape 1, and it will be on string 6, 4, and 3. So this shape starts life as an E7. If we make it an F7 by turning it into a bar chord, it's at fret 1. The root is on string 6, so this is an F note and it's an F chord. So if we put this at fret 8, we will have a C note, so this will be a C7. Now, a little theory. If a chord has 7 at the end of it, it will be a 4-note chord. So if it's just major or just minor, it will be a 1, a 3, and a 5. But if you have a 7, it will have a 1, a 3, a 5, and if it says 7 on the chord, it really means flat 7. So a C7 chord will have a C, an E, which is the 3, a G, which is the 5, and the B flat, which is the flat 7. So in order to change this into a 3-string chord, we're going to look at the notes on each string. So I suggest that you figure them out. Many guitarists know the notes on string 6 and string 5, but are weaker on the others. So figure out the notes on each string. But it's a C, a G, a B flat, E, G, C. So the first thing we will do is throw out the doubles. So we're going to lose the high C and the high G. So now we have a 4-string chord: C, G, B flat, E. Now that's really got too many low notes. It's going to be in the bass player's way. We want to give some room to the bassist. Let him stay out of his way. Let him have some fun. You know, you don't want him playing up on fret 12 on the, on the 1st string while you're soloing, and so you need to respect his territory. So we're going to throw out string 5. So we're going to have, out of a 6-string C7, we are picking the notes on strings 6, 4, and 3. So we will have a C, that's the root. We will have a B flat, that's the flat 7, and we will have an E, that's the 3rd. So the root is on string 6. So it's referred to as a root 6 chord. So if I put this shape at fret 5, the note on the 6th string will be an A. So this will be some type of A chord. So we want to, in order to make use of this shape, we need to know where is the root. Now, if we start with this C7, we've got a 1, a flat 7, and a 3. We can move the 7 around. So the note on the 4th string, we can move it up a fret, or we could move it down a fret. So if we take that B flat and we move it up 1/2 step, 1 fret, we will now have a B natural. And so there's a C major 7. Go back to the C7. We're going to move that note on string 4 down 1/2 step. That's going to give us an A. So now we're going to play that, and we will have a C6. So we now have 3 C chords with the root on the 6th string at fret 8. We have a C7, we have a C major 7, and we have a C6. Now we're going to move the note on the 3rd string. So On the C7, the note on the third string is a E. And if we lower it 1/2 step, we will have an E flat. Well, if we change the E note on a C chord, the third, down to an E flat, that will be a flat 3. That will give us a minor chord. So here's a C7 with the E on the third string. If we flatten out our third finger, we can catch 2 strings with the third finger, and we will have a C minor 7 at fret 8. So we went from a C7 to a C minor 7 by moving only the note on string 3. We're going to go back to the C7. We're going to turn it into a C6 by lowering the flat 7, the B flat on string 4 down to A. And now we are also going to lower the note on string 3. We're going to lower the E to E flat, and that's going to give us a minor 6. So from one basic shape, a C7, we can raise the 7 to major 7. We can lower it to the 6. We can lower the 3 and get a minor 7. We can go back to that 6 chord. We can lower the 3 and get a minor 6. So we now have 5 variations on one shape. So rather than keeping track of this as 5 different chords, I want to keep track of this as, this is my root 6 chord shape. So there's the root, and then this would be the 7, the major 7, the 6, the minor 7, and the minor 6. So I don't want to have to think about each individual note. I suggest that you figure out each individual note so that you know what is really going on and get the theory out of it. But when I'm playing a chord, I don't want to think about that much. I want to just grab the chord. So by having these sort of in my chord vocabulary, I can think only about the root note. That will get me the correct place on the fingerboard, and then I can, out of the 5 possible shapes, I can say, do I need the 7? Do I need the major 7? Do I need the 6? Do I need the minor 7? Or do I need the minor 6? Once again, a little bit of theory here. Because this chord has no fifth, this is a C7, this is a C7 flat 5, this is a C7 sharp 5. So, if I'm playing a difficult tune with a lot of altered fifths and I use this shape, it lets me once again do a little bit less thinking. Also, I'm staying out of the bass player or the piano player's way. If they want to play an altered 5, they can do it, and there's no conflict between the two of us. We're both playing the notes that support each other. So I'm going to take the tune All of Me, and we're just going to find each chord. So the first chord is a C major 7. So we want to get a C note on string 6, and then we have a C7, so we're going to raise the flat 7 a half step. Now we have a C major 7. The second chord is an E7, so we're not going to use any open strings. So we're going to use the E on string 6 at fret 12, and there it is. We don't have to think about the alterations. It's the 7 shape. So we've got the root, the flat 7, and the 3. Now we've got an A7, so we need to find an A7 on string 6. It's at fret 5. So one of the advantages to doing it this way is you can really see how far apart the roots are. You can kind of you can see the root motion. If you use a bunch of different shapes to play this song, it'll be much more efficient, but you won't really know how far apart are these chords. How far are we moving when we go from one chord to the next? So this is a good exercise, even if you already know the other shapes. I'll give a shout out to Don Lappin at Berkeley, who thought told me that it was very important to be able to play the melody to any song on one string. The guitar, when we play across it, it's you aren't seeing the intervals. If you play a melody on the piano, you can see exactly how far apart each note is. But on the guitar, it's a little confusing. So if you force yourself to play the melody or the chords, the melody on one string or the chords with the root on one string, you can really see how far things are moving around. And this is kind of an important thing to be aware of. All right, next chord is a D minor 7. So we need to find a D on string 6. There's the D7. In order to get a D minor 7, I need to lower the 3, D minor 7. The next chord is an E7. We played it before. Now we have an A minor 7. Before we had an A7, so we already know where the A is. We just need to take this basic shape number 1 and say which is the minor 7 variation. Now we have a D7. Last time we had a D minor 7, so we know where the D is. We're going to play the D7 and then a D minor 7 and then a G7. Now that was the first A and the B. We're now back to another A, so we've got a C major 7 to an E7 to an A7 to the D minor 7. So that was exactly the same as the first 4 chords. Now we've got the C section. We have an F6, so we need to find an F on string 6. I don't want to use this one, so I'm going to use the one up at fret 13. We have an F. There's our F7. In order to get an F6, we need to lower the flatted 7 down to 6. So there's our 6. Now we need an F minor 6. So we're in the right place. We've got the right root. We've got the 6. We need to lower the 3 down to flat 3. Now we're back to the C major 7. Now we need an E minor 7. Last time we've had some E7s before, so we know where the E is, but we need to lower the 3 down to flat 3 to get the E minor 7. We have an A7. We've had it before. D minor 7, G7, and then a C6. And then there's a little 2-5 turnaround, a D minor 7 to a G. So I suggest that you find all the chords, and then, in case I haven't said this before, use a metronome, one that goes click as opposed to a drum machine. Set it at 60. And just play these chords straight 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get comfortable with the tune at each temp. So you start at 60, then go to 70, and work your way up to 120, and then click the metronome back to 60, but we're going to play it at 120 with the metronome clicking at 60. So the metronome is on the 2 and the 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we want the pick to agree with the foot, so the pick is going up on 1 and down on 2. So I hope you've enjoyed this video on playing a 4-note chord on 3 strings. Next week we'll look at we'll look at shape 2, so that you'll have a sort of 2 ways to play every chord, and then we'll put them together in a future video. Have a good week, and I will see you next week.